Good morning to you all. Maybe just before I do start on the launch of our manifesto, I want to pay tribute to my predecessor, Dr. Paisley. I was down in Ballymena on Friday night, where we celebrated the 40th anniversary of him being elected in Bandside. And much of what we will be able to do today is because of the foundations that he laid, the progress that he made, and the leadership that he gave. And I just want to pay tribute to the role that he has played in Ulster politics. When I was first elected to Westminster in 1979, Northern Ireland was a dark place, synonymous with terror, murder, vacated properties and empty streets. Along with Beirut, it was one of the last places on earth that businesses would think of investing in, and one of the last places tourists would consider visiting. In 1979 alone, 120 people died from terrorism, including Eri Neve, Lord Mountbatten, and the British ambassador in the Netherlands. 18 died in the Narrow Water atrocity. 4 RUC officers were murdered in Bestbrook, and another 4 soldiers near Dungannon. It would have been a brave pundit who would have predicted during the 1979 election campaign that Northern Ireland would be so transformed 3 decades later, that the province would be capable of attracting investors from around the world, companies such as the New York Stock Exchange, Citibank, Universal Studios and HBO, that tourists would be flocking to Belfast and commending its nightlife, and cruise liners would be docking in our ports, that all the main paramilitary groups would have given up weapons and ceased activities, that the IRA would have been forced down the political route and would be supporting our local police, the courts and the rule of law, that Stormont would be restored, legislating and administering a multi-billion-pound budget, and indeed control of policing and justice powers would be back in local hands again. No one would have predicted that the Democratic Unionist Party, or any local party for that matter, would be unveiling a Westminster Manifesto emphasising not the inadequacies of direct rule, street protests or the need for more troops, but instead about creating jobs, a better health service, improving standards in education and tackling antisocial behaviour. This manifesto is testimony to a new Northern Ireland. A new Northern Ireland which, like the building we're in today, retains all of its heritage, its poignant memories, its past glories, but which in recent years has been transformed and is now fit for purpose in the modern era. The determination of the DUP has helped deliver a present day infinitely better than our recent past, with the prospects of a future even brighter still. And in the next Parliament, a strong, united DUP team will continue that progress. The ever-growing potential for a hung Parliament offers unprecedented opportunities for a focused, cohesive Unionist bloc in the House of Commons. A few short weeks ago, our party launched its central message of the campaign: let's keep Northern Ireland moving forward. In our party election broadcast, we set out the context for this Westminster election, where Northern Ireland has come from, where it is today, and crucially the DUP vision for Ulster's future. In this manifesto, we provide the breadth of that vision. In this manifesto, we supply the ideas for the future. In this manifesto, we show how we can keep Northern Ireland moving forward. It tackles over 20 policy areas, from education to reforming our national politics, from health to our armed forces, and from crime to foreign affairs. It sets out a vision for the breadth of issues that our people and our nation faces. It doesn't limit itself to non-devolved issues. Why? First, because voters want to discuss the complete range of issues. Secondly, the DUP has set itself the task of being the party with the best strategy for unionism and for Northern Ireland. For it to be the best, it needs to be comprehensive. Third, Northern Ireland is part of the United Kingdom, so how it develops as a region must be within the context of the Union. A Northern Ireland moving forward in a United Kingdom that is moving forward. This is the first time in the history of the DUP where we've been able to publish a manifesto that concentrated on the economy as the primary issue. I think this shows just how far we have come. I realise that many people are asking why they should vote. This morning, I will give some examples of crucial decisions that will be made at the ballot box on the 6th of May. Our nation faces a mammoth task to get back to economic growth and to tackle the deficit and debt. However, simplistic cuts will not provide a solution either. The economies of different parts of the United Kingdom have different levels of reliance on public sector spending. This includes Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and significant swathes of England. Therefore, cuts which take no account of this are not a recipe for national renewal, but national division. The DUP has already shown that it will make savings in government. In our manifesto, we have more ideas on how this can be taken further. However, the DUP has used these savings to keep taxes lower and to invest for the longer term. Cuts in the Northern Ireland Block Grant will lead to higher taxes and rob us of the ability to invest for the long term in infrastructure and skills. Therefore, Northern Ireland needs a strong, united team to maximise the Northern Ireland Block Grant to ensure our economy grows today, next year and in 10 years' time. The manifesto contains several hundred DUP proposals crammed into 72 pages across 20 different subject areas. We have produced hundreds of compact versions for candidates and canvassers out on the doors as they conclude their final 2.5 weeks of engaging with voters. Like everywhere else, Northern Ireland has suffered from the recession, but we are better placed than some to recover. It is no coincidence that we have placed the economy and business up front at the very start of our manifesto. As we have done at Stormont through the Programme for Government, DUP MPs will continue to do all that they can to enhance and expand our private sector. We advocate an achievable scheme to reduce corporation tax and are proposing cutting VAT on building work to 5% to aid the construction sector. A single government department for the economy, we believe, would help. Given the decades of terrorism we have endured, we believe there's a strong case for Northern Ireland being designated a special economic zone within the United Kingdom, where potential investors could benefit from reduced regulation, lower taxes, and other financial incentives to reduce the cost of business. The DUP wants to make Northern Ireland the best place to do business. We want to reduce the regulatory burden on businesses overall and are keen for large companies to be obliged to pay subcontractors and suppliers within a 30-day time frame. The Northern Ireland Government spends upwards of £3 billion each year on supplies. It spends it on supplies, it spends it on services, and it spends it on construction work. The DUP wants to see increasing numbers of Indigenous smaller enterprises competing in the public sector supply chain, providing better value for money, higher levels of service, and more innovative business solutions.